Every time you tell a kid with ADHD to calm down, you make it harder for them to actually do it. It seems a little backwards, but the default responses to ADHD dysregulation, calm down, go to your room, sit still, work against how their brain is actually wired. When a child with ADHD is dysregulated, the thinking part of their brain is basically offline. So you can talk to them, but they're not going to hear you. Not won't, can't. Asking them to calm down is like asking a computer mid crash to run a new program. It doesn't work. And then we get frustrated, they get frustrated, and the whole thing spirals. So here's an adult comparison. Think about what you do when you're stressed. You might pace, you might tap your foot or tap your hand on your knee. You might get up and walk somewhere, look for something to eat, even though you're not hungry. You talk yourself through it quietly. You tell yourself, okay, I can either do this or do that. You're regulating yourself without even thinking about it. Those aren't random habits, they're your nervous system tools. Movement, self-talk, autonomy. Kids with ADHD haven't built those tools yet. Their nervous system needs more, not less, because the ADHD brain has trouble slowing down on its own. It needs an outside signal to do it. These three tools are those signals. So, tool one is movement. I talk about this a lot. Movement is intentional physical activity used specifically to help the nervous system regulate. It's not recess, it's not go play outside, it's targeted, brief movement. And it has a purpose. In my classroom, this looked like 10 wall push ups before a test, or a lap around the hallway before reading, jumping jacks in the back of the room if I could see that a student was starting to get ramped up. Why is this important? The ADHD brain produces less dopamine than a neurotypical brain. Dopamine is what helps us focus, stay calm, and feel in control. Movement produces dopamine. It's not a reward, it's a refill. You know that feeling after a walk when your head suddenly gets clearer? That's dopamine. Your kid needs that same reset, just a little more often and more intentionally than most kids. So you build that in. You build it in before regulation becomes a problem. That means 2 minutes of movement before school, a body break before homework, a movement choice when you can see their energy is climbing. Keep it short, 2 to 5 minutes, and keep it consistent. And never use it as punishment. Go run laps is not the same as let's do 10 push-ups together before we start homework. One is a consequence and one is a tool. Tool two is the whisper reset. What is that? When a child is escalating, you lower your voice instead of raising it. You slow down instead of speeding up. You move closer instead of calling across the room. And this is important because when you raise your voice at the dysregulated kid, you add to their sensory load. Their nervous system is already overwhelmed, and now there's a louder signal coming in. It's like turning up the volume and it makes everything worse. Think about your own experience. If you're stressed and somebody starts yelling at you or talking faster and louder, does that help you calm down? It doesn't. Your brain locks down. You can't even process what they're saying. A whisper does the opposite. It forces their nervous system to slow down and match yours. It signals safety instead of threat, and it gives the thinking part of their brain a chance to come back online. So, how do you use it? You drop your voice low and slow. You can say, I can see this is hard for you. I'm right here. The shock of just that change snaps them out of it because they're confused about what you're doing. And it also calms them down. You're not giving instructions, you're not teaching a lesson. You are just regulating the environment and letting their nervous system follow. The mistake some parents make is problem solving during this moment. Don't. The whisper reset is not a teaching moment, it's a landing strip. The third tool is choice. So, choice plus timer. And what is this? You give a dysregulated child two things their nervous system is craving: control and a finite endpoint. A choice sounds like, do you want to start with math or reading? Not, what do you want to do? That's too open. You give them two options. That's it. And a timer sounds like, we're working for 10 minutes. Then you get a break. Not open-ended, finite. And that's important because ADHD brains struggle with time blindness. So they can't feel how long something is going to last. Do your homework feels like it could last forever. The unknown produces anxiety. The timer makes it concrete. 10 minutes is something they can hold on to. And choice matters because ADHD dysregulation often comes from a feeling of helplessness. Things are happening to them with no say. One small choice changes that dynamic immediately. Think about when your boss gives you a deadline but lets you decide how to structure your afternoon. The work is the same, but the autonomy makes it feel manageable instead of crushing. That's exactly what we're replicating here. How to use it. Use a visual timer, one with a visible countdown. The time timer is one I use, and you can get that app on your phone. The kid can actually see the timer disappearing, and this makes it real. Combine it with a binary choice. Do you want to work at the table or on the floor? Timer starts in 10 seconds. Two choices, one timer, done. Here's what trips most parents up. These tools only work when the nervous system isn't already in full meltdown. So if the plane is already going down, you can't land it. You have to let it crash safely and then debrief after. I know that sounds crazy, but if they're already having a meltdown, you have to let them get through it. First, they have to crash, then you have to debrief. The moments when you can see the plane starting to wobble, movement before the melt, whisper when it starts, choice plus a timer when they ramp back up. Build them into the routine. Use them proactively. And when the meltdown does happen anyway, because sometimes they will, there's a whole separate conversation about what to do in the first 60 seconds. That's the next video. These tools, movement, whisper reset, choice plus timer, they're not tricks. They're your kid's nervous system telling you what it needs. Once you start seeing behavior as communication, everything changes. If this is new to you, just pick one. And I would pick movement. Build it in before homework this week. That's it. And subscribe, because next week we're talking about what to do in the first 60 seconds of a meltdown when none of this caught it in time. That one is going to be very important.